Hi, this is Talking with David, 25. Don't know how long this video is going to be. um, I don't know how many people are left standing after 2024. I think a number of things described it as a body blow. uh, and I don't know, I think that's understating it. Uh, I don't know. I think I am, or should be grateful that I live in Scotland rather than the US. um, I think 2025 in the US is going to be three specific movies. Movie number one is Assault on Precinct 13, the original John Carpenter movie, not the remake that didn't need to be made. Although I do like Ethan Hawke as a actor, but they didn't need to remake Assault on Precinct 13. And I think Assault on Precinct 13 is maybe John Carpenter's best movie, in my opinion. I think a lot of people would say The Thing would be John Carpenter's best movie, but for me, Assault on Precinct 13, I think it's much more, in terms of cinematic. I think it's his best movie. And I don't know how much gang culture there is still in America. I certainly know that there's lots of guns, and those 3D printed guns are really scary, even science fiction sort of prospect. But yeah, I think I saw on Precinct 13. It would be the first movie. The second movie would be Requiem for a Dream. It sort of starts off in a bad situation and then descends into a wide awake nightmare. One of those movies that you only want to watch once. It's a movie really about addiction, and I think that fits with America now, or a certain section of America. And the third movie, and I think to me the most scary, is a movie called Punishment Park. It's from the 1970s. It was sort of born out of the Kent State shooting, and it was set in the time of Nixon, but it was they've rounded up sort of what they regard as threats to the establishment, the sort of protesters, and they've taken them to some undisclosed location in Arizona, I think it is, and it sort of becomes Hunger Games-esque, although it's more like a most dangerous game, where they sort of just release the convicts and hunt them down as a sort of a training exercise for the military and the police. And I think that's scarily accurate and could potentially happen if it hasn't happened already. So you no longer need to read about dystopia. I do think that in some cases it's on the doorstep. I want to sort of try and lift the mood. Veganuary, I did do a video about. It's a very interesting experiment. I hope that everybody would give it a try, but it is quite difficult, depending on the shop, and most of all depending on the size of the shop, the bigger the shop, the more the chance you get vegan products. The smaller the shop, you might struggle to find one or two, although you probably will find something. But it is a very interesting thought experiment. I don't think I've changed in terms of weight. I think I've not gained weight, I've not lost weight. It's mainly stayed the same. There's plenty of vegan snacks, which on the whole, I think the majority of them I enjoyed. Um, it's interesting some of the things that can be made vegan. I didn't try. There's a egg substitute. I think it's with fava beans, and I don't know what they've like fava bean water or something like that. So I never tried that, so I don't know what it's like. But I had vegan pasta, and it was very nice. Much the same as the real thing, although I think it probably takes a lot less time to cook, which is actually a plus. Other sort of vegan products, vegan clothing, I've not a bit about my price range, and I haven't bought any vegan clothing, but it's very interesting again to think that they can make shoes or fake leather this much like the real thing. I find that really interesting. Apparently they can make clothes out of the Opuntia cactus, the also known as the prickly pear cactus, a very sort of common cactus in various sort of countries. I think its origin is from Mexico, I think, but you can get it in the Mediterranean as well, although it's been quite very widely cultivated, I think. So it is really interesting. Hopefully my carbon footprint, which is the main reason that I took part in Veganuary, hopefully that is down, but I'm sort of dubious about some of the things. Although I do think that it does reduce carbon footprint depending on the locality of the thing that you're buying and the process of how it's made. But it is a sort of a ethical sort of minefield. I think one of the oat drinks, Oatly, I think, is actually a Trump supporter, which is just so bizarre. I can't begin to fathom it. And some of the other, well, I think it's one product. It's actually made by a meat producer from Brazil, which is a bit counterproductive. But I've discovered a lot of things which has been very interesting and very fun, and maybe that's the main sort of highlight of Veganuary. I sort of rushed into it. I didn't really plan. I really should have planned for it a bit better, but I could do that next year in 2026. I mean, I don't know what the year has in store. I noticed that the doomsday clock is 89 seconds. I actually thought it would have been closer. I thought it would have been like 60 or 50. But 89 seconds is still a very chilling prospect. And I think about certain natural disasters you can't predict, really. In certain locations, to a certain region of probability, you could maybe predict, but on the whole, you can't really predict these things, and you just have to stick by your principles and do whatever you do. I think I don't think I've heard enough about self care. I mean, I've heard the phrase or term a few times. That I think in 2024 and 2025, and maybe mainly from the US. But I think it's a term description that needs to be used a lot more. And the article, I don't know where it was, I think it was in Substack. It was just saying, there's all the different varieties of self care. Some people will be, painting miniatures. A lot of people will be reading. Some people will be jogging. All manners of things, whatever somebody has to do to get through that day, week, month, or whatever. So I think it's very important. And mentioning Substack, I've moved a number of my social media. I think I left X maybe a few weeks. I would like to say a few weeks after Elon Musk took over, but it might be months after Elon Musk took over, I have to admit. But I've left it now. I mean, I think there was the threat of maybe being charged money, so I left. So I'm now on Blue Sky, which is much the same and very interesting. Quite a lot of interesting people and organisations on there. A lot of good stuff. And the other one I've left, Goodreads, which is owned by Jeff Bezos / Amazon. So I've left that and moved to Storygraph, which again is much the same. I think it's quite easy to use. Luckily, I imported all of my statistics or data from Goodreads, which it didn't take that long at all. It was very good. And so now I've got all that information on Storygraph, and I've done a few reviews of the books I've read so far. Trying to think of the other one. TikTok. I'm on TikTok. I still really don't know how to use it. It's difficult for me. I don't know all the buttons and things and stuff. Communication. I'm not sure how good it is. I've uploaded some stuff. It seems to be easier to upload things on my computer than on my phone, which is odd. But I've uploaded some videos, just short, nothing really special. Substack also. I've not posted anything on there. I might not. I'm not sure. It's really just to read things, and I've come across quite a number of interesting articles. So 2024 is definitely a change. I think a change, and then 2025 will be the aftermath. Don't know what 2025 has in store, but as I say, if you just stick by your principles, do what you do, people aren't just lying down and taking it. I would love to see the unions a bit stronger, and I'd love to see sort of resurgence of pressure groups and things. I think it's important to know that things like science and hobbies and all those other things, hopefully community groups, they can't be killed off. They can't fully be killed off. They'll survive in some form or another. Even if it's a small number, it will still survive. So I think end it there. That was Talking with David 25. Thanks for watching. Bye.